Good morning and happy Friday. So my name is Jen Bailey. I'm a VSG athlete. I'm on the ambassador team for Los Angeles Marathon. And yeah, today I wanted to go over different ways of how you can give back to your community. Now this one is not necessarily like VSG related, but because it's something that is so close to my heart, I figured, let's go over it. We're in this season and, I can share a little bit about why it's important to me. And yeah, so let's go from there. And I hope the music is not too loud. I did turn it down a bit. And I still got a little bit of the sniffles. Okay, so first, why is giving back important to me? Now, when, years ago, what I call my previous life, when I escaped my domestic violence marriage, my babies were 1 and 2. I left with their cribs and our clothes. So we didn't have much. Even though I had a full-time job, it was still just a retail job. So there wasn't a lot to go off of. Let's see in our comments. Good morning. Music sounds great. Thank you. Oops. How do I? All right. Oh, and I can show that. There it is. Thank you. I appreciate that. That nice check. So yeah, when we left, that's all we had. And I remember when that was in the end of the year of 2009. And, as holidays happen or my birthday would happen, people are like, oh, what do you want? I don't want for anything. If you feel like giving me something, a gift card would be great. Because in my head, it was already a struggle to provide. And if I had a gift card, then that would help me to be able to get things for them. And, that kind of stuff, I had to think ahead on things. I was always outdone with gifts from the other end. So it was just I had that to deal with. And while I was still trying to get cool things for little kids or fun things for little kids, but I was always made to look like I wasn't giving enough. And that was hard emotionally, because I always want the best for my babies. And I did not know, I was still, fairly young and going through all that, and still I had been conditioned to think a certain way. So I legit thought that there was no help for people like me out there. And I thought I could rely on family, but I still hadn't told them everything about my life. So little did I know that there are organizations within my community that do all these great things that help get gifts, and they pass them out to kids, or you can go and pick them up so you have something to wrap and put under the tree for your kids. Should you celebrate Christmas and that. So when I got gift cards for my birthday or just holidays for myself, that's what I would use. I'd get those. Mostly people got them for Target, which was great. I love Target. Who doesn't love Target? And I'd buy things for them. But I remember there was one evening, the kids were running low on something, and I had maybe $3 in my account, but I had a gift card for $25. So go to Target, get these necessities, and I am coming down to the dollar on things. And my son wanted one of those little cars from the dollar bins when you first walk in. And he was carrying it throughout the store, and I'm trying to budget this. And we get to the register and I was already over like by a little, but everything I had on the, like in the bag, was a necessity. Like they couldn't, like they needed it. So, you know, that little car wasn't going to make it in, and I felt awful. And this was, you know, around like December. I'm like, oh my gosh, so I can't even afford that. I had to tell him like, oh, this thing is broken. Like we'll get another one next time. But it killed me on the inside because I knew that's not the case. And they're little, and he looked a little upset, but he wasn't like crazy bothered by it. He was just like, oh, like, okay. And I felt really bad. But like, there are organizations that collect gift cards for people if you do things, you know, like that. So there's different ways to give back, but that was just kind of one thing for me. I didn't know that there was people that collect gifts. So I never utilized any of those within the community. And not until just a few years ago when we started working with other organizations. And I was like, what? Like this has been happening for like 20 years. So that's a thing. But there are plenty of people out there like that, like situations that I was in, that can really use the help and are so grateful for it. So that's something that I'm, you know, really passionate about and trying to help others within our community. You know, we don't have a lot here, but it's very much in my heart to give back. So how can you help? There are a few different ways, you know, depending on your budget. If you wanted, you can always reach out to different organizations in your community and see what kind of things that they would need. If, you know, some people are doing coat drives, you can always go around if you have your older coats, things that you're done with and you've moved on to the next, you can collect those things. You can collect them from your friends, and give them that way. Or if you have the budget for it, you can go out and, you know, buy a few things. Some people collect canned goods. You can always go get a bag of canned goods. You can go to the dollar store like there's nothing wrong with food from the 99-cent store. You know, there's still really good brand stuff, and there's very generic brands that are very good. But reach out to these people and see, they'll let you know, and they're very grateful for the donations that you give. But yeah, it doesn't have to be huge money things. It can be little stuff like that. Or even if you go, and I believe Walmart still has like a section where there's generic toys, but they look really good and they do last a while. And when like you're little, it's the colors, it's the sounds, it's the things that these make. Like all of that stuff is really great, and the little ones appreciate it, but the parents appreciate it, you know, so much. They're so grateful for that. So if that's in your budget, you can go out and buy a few things and donate to a toy drive. But yeah, there's also like other ways if your budget's just not big enough for that, and people absolutely understand. The free ways to help. So how you can do that is by donating your time. If you have that extra time, you can go to a local food bank and help pass out meals. I know from experience helping with one out here, there are a couple. I've helped with Grace Resources, I've helped with the YMCA, and just being there, those bodies aren't needed because the lines are long. People are waiting out there, and it's winter, it's freezing. So anything you can do to help. There are other ones where they have coat drives. You can just go and help be part of passing out these coats and, you know, seeing the community in that way and helping them with your time. There's like grocery giveaway days within the community. Head over, help do that. If you have enough gas, there's also usually like a drop-off groceries for like seniors. You can help with that, but there's all different ways for all different like time frames you have to work with, your budget, and it's a really great thing to be able to be part of that and help the community. You know, in the end, like, kindness matters, and spreading kindness, spreading those smiles is so great in this season. You know, I can't express that enough. It's really easy to be able to just be kind. It's free. It goes a long way. And it's helpful to the community to, you know, it'll brighten your own day in the best ways. So to be able to see that, and, you know, we've had our kids help out as well. And even like, it's been a little challenging, like once I left, but to be able to show the kids like, hey, we can help out because we're capable of it. That's been a really big deal. And it kind of gives them that other perspective of, okay, well, I have food, I have this warm bed, I have that. Or, you know, when they were younger, they had seen children that were like a couple years younger than them as they're passing out food. And it was kind of eye-opening to them and shocking. But also they immediately like went and turned that, what they felt and the love they had in their heart. As little kids, they're passing out these like Danishes on the food night that we were there. They were the dessert kids. And to see the little ones come through, they were like, do you want 2 of these? Do you want another one? Because there's certain rules kind of with it. It's like you just kind of pass and go, pass and go. And for them, it was like, oh, okay, this is a little kid. Let me see if they want this one instead of that one. Do they want 2 instead of just the 1? And so it helps. It helps foster that kindness, foster the growth and gratitude for all of it. So there are ways to help, giving back to your community, supporting those around you. And, you know, for some of us, it was like, when I did learn of it, it can be a little, I don't want to say embarrassing, because that's kind of a strong word, but like to an extent, it's humbling for sure. But yeah, when you go to these things, just being kind, being as a volunteer, being kind to those people goes such a long way. So in the end, those are some ways that you can give back to your community and help out throughout this season, because there are a lot of people out there struggling, whether you think they are or not, or, you know, it's very outwardly with the unhoused community, but there are also other people that are doing their best, like I was, and I just didn't know where to go or how to get help. And, you know, I struggled without it until I found it. So yeah. With that said, I'm gonna close this one out, but I wish you all the very best weekend. You can always follow me on Instagram. I'm on there as Jen_Bailey17. Sorry, I had to look at that again. And on Strava as Jen Bailey. Still doing my training for Los Angeles Marathon. I'm super excited, but I've definitely slowly working my way back up just because of the busyness of life and all of that. So I hope you get to spend times with the ones who are closest to you. And yeah, until next Friday, I believe we will be back to our regularly scheduled VSG topics, but because this one's so close to my heart, this one is something I lived through, and I definitely wanted to share that with you guys. So until next time, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you're new here, thank you for checking me out. And if you've been following, thank you again. I appreciate you for, sticking with me. So sending light, love, and happiness. Bye.